we would believe 8 to 10, and then by what time?
What's the time frame if you haven't listened to a voicemail? How long do you have to wait?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 5:30. We're calling the Planning and Zoning Board meeting to order. Would everyone please make sure that their electronic equipment is silenced? First item on the agenda this evening is Mr. Nelson will lead us in pledge and invocation. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for our city. Bless our deliberations this day so that we may wisely serve our citizens. Let us make sound recommendations based on sound judgment. We ask for these blessings in your name, Lord. Amen. Amen.
Mr. Angelo, would you please call roll?
Mr. Leidig.
Present.
Mr. Cooper.
Present.
Mr. Nelson.
Present.
Ms. Georgelis.
Yes.
Mr. Carter.
Present.
Ms. McCollum.
Present.
And Mr. McMahon.
Has everyone on the board had a chance to read the minutes of May the 3rd? Are there any changes or corrections?
Madam Chair, I have one. The invocation needs to be moved over from the Historic Preservation Agency's minutes of March 8th and be embraced upon our Planning and Zoning minutes of May 3rd.
Other comments?
None.
Robert, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, great. First item of,
Move approval of minutes as submitted with the one recommended amendment.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, Robert. The first business item is Comprehensive Plan Amendment CPA 2204, and included in it is a zoning change 2203. Representing Mr. Kraus.
What do you take that for? I'm happy for you to do it. I've been in this room with 300 deputies, just me. That was never fun. But anyway, this is a piece of property in Florida Gateway North.
Wait. We need to swear you in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give your name and address, please.
Daniel Kratz, 2806 Westwood Valley, Lake City, Florida.
And this is going to be tough, Daniel.
Ma'am.
Do you swear that what you report this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief? Okay.
We got the polygraph in the back, right?
Yes, we do.
But anyway, we developed this property 30, 40 years ago, back when I was young. And all those apartments out there, the property we developed, these two lots border the apartments that are already there. And then north of this is a 19-acre piece we sold to a group out of Alabama. I don't know if they come to you yet, but they plan on doing a huge apartment complex on that 19 acres. So we have city water, we have city sewer, and we own, every side, but where there's apartment on the other side, so anybody that complains about the change. We have too much commercial property, You know, Amazon and all these other things have sort of, we don't need the commercial property we used to need. But we need a lot of multifamily now. There's a huge housing shortage, and there's not a lot of multifamily zone land. So we're trying to provide some multifamily zone land. So I'm here to answer any questions anybody has.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I have a question to make sure we're talking about the same piece of property. And that, I have on the application is for, Northwest Hall of Fame in Northwest Huntsboro, which is 1.63 acres.
Lot 4748.
I've got the parcel number is 02463-147.
Well, that'd be lot 47. There's two lots.
Okay.
Of course, it used to be north and south lane, and those names have been changed as it's platted.
we've got some. Has everybody found the packet that we're discussing? Okay. Are you online, Robert? Okay. Just making sure.
Are we at a point where we can ask questions?
Yes, we are at the point we can ask questions.
The survey, Mr. Kratz has submitted with this, I'm seeing a lot 47 and a lot 48.
That's correct.
Yet on the,
Supposed to be both lots.
Okay, yet on the subsequent material, most notably what's from the Columbia County Property Appraiser, I'm seeing it as one single series of lot lines. Were these two lots merged at some time in the past?
They aren't merged legally, the property appraiser merged them.
Just for convenience? Okay. That was my only question, Madam Chair.
Are there other questions? Any comments from? No comments. There being no further comments,
Move to close public hearing, Madam Chair.
Second.
thank you very much. All comments are closed on this item. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo, would you please hold the board?
Yes. Mr. Leidig,
Yay.
Mr. Cooper,
Yay.
Mr. Nelson,
Yay.
Mr. Dredels,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Ms. McCollum,
Yes.
and Mr. McMahon.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. See you at your site plan review.
The next item on the agenda is CPA 2205.
And we'll be discussing that concurrently with Z 2204, same component.
Correct. Mr. Schlimmer,
Yes.
name and address to please.
Isaac Schlimmer, 187 Southwest Old Settlers Way, Lake City.
And if you raise your hand, you swear the information you provide this evening to be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief. Thank you very much. Could you give us a little information about your project?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm proposing to rezone parcel number 11695-808 from residential single family to residential multifamily 1. After the proposed plan for the property after being rezoned, we can construct 6 duplex buildings, 12 units, at about 2,000 square feet each building, 1,000 per dwelling. any kind of, parking we need or community trash, detention ponds that are necessary. Again, just to kind of help with the extreme demand for housing occurs in the area. So I'm here to, answer any questions that there are.
So you basically want approval for rezoning,
Correct.
because you have not submitted your site plans and everything yet.
No, not that would be the next.
Madam Chair, I have a question for the proponent.
Yes.
This individual parcel within this existing RSF1 district that you want to zone RMF1. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to conduct a site visit. I was called away on business this weekend. The two RMF districts that are within approximately 1 block of this current proposed rezoning, are they currently being utilized in an RMF1 fashion, or are they strictly zoned that way and containing single-family residencies?
I'm not sure on that, unfortunately.
We'll cover that on discussion amongst the board. That's all I had, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Are there any other apartments in that area?
I don't think there's any apartments. Yeah, I don't know exactly how far away the nearest apartment building would be.
Does the board need further discussion on this item? Yes. Does the board want further discussion on it? So I'm waiting for some other discussion. Okay, if there are no other comments from the public, you have a comment?
Yes.
Would you come to the podium, please? Name and address.
Hello, I'm Barbara Mizell Perry, 1099 Southwest Tuscaloosa Avenue, Lakeside, Florida. And
Do you swear the information you provide this evening to be true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I,
Thank you very much.
okay, so my parents live in this neighborhood where he's proposing to put the 6 duplexes. And they're elderly. They bought into a single-family zoning residency. This is a very nice neighborhood, great respect from the neighbors for each other. And I submitted a petition to let you know that the people who live in the neighborhood do not wish to have that rezoned to multiple units in their neighborhood. They bought into single-family residency, that's where they'd like to be. And it would not be to the best benefit of the people in the neighborhood for that to be rezoned. First of all, you have a drainage problem there that you've had for years. And I submitted you some pictures showing you all that standing water, the ditch that wide and that deep, a water that just stands despite the fact we have very little rain. But when there's a lot of rain, it's just flowing like a river. And that plus the noise and the additional traffic that it would bring to the neighborhood, especially with the roundabout being just around the corner from there, it would not be desirable for the people who reside there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have the petition here for everybody to look over if you like me to pass them out to them.
Yeah, we need to.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I have a question. I just want to know if this is in a flood zone, if there's any flood zone.
Robert, do we know if this is in a flood zone?
According to our GIS map, it is in flood zone X, which is not in the 100-year flood zone.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
don't know if it's a question or not, but something I thought of, that if they have drainage issues in this neighborhood and they put a multi-family complex in, and then they have to have the proper amount of drainage for that complex, I wonder if some of that water that's standing now would overflow into that area and actually help the neighborhood.
Has the city reviewed this for us, Robert?
The city has not reviewed as far as stormwater because it's not part of the rezoning. But currently don't have any concerns with it, but all that would be met during the site plan review, as that's part of the site plan review.
Not to say that, Madam Chair, not to say that I agree with putting multifamily right smack in the middle of residential. It almost seems that there needs to be some other multifamily around there for it to be maybe just further discussion probably on my end.
Yes. Further discussion from the board?
I have discussion amongst the board, but we close the public hearing first. I have some questions for administrators.
It all has to be on the public.
Okay. Request recognition.
Yes, Mr. Lang.
All right, city, as I indicated earlier, I did not have the time to conduct a site visit. I was called away from work. The two residential multifamily one zoning districts that lie within one block as the crow flies from this area. Are there currently structures on those properties that meet the requirements of RMF1, or were those just rezoned but still maintain single-family residences on them?
I did not go look at those two properties that, there is one 4 parcels down. I do not know the building structure that is on there, if it's single family or if it's multi-family.
We have another. Name and address.
Crispinda Bird, 950 Northwest Fowler Avenue. And I'm one of the residents in this particular neighborhood.
Right.
My husband and I, sorry.
Do you swear the information you provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm one of the residents that reside in this neighborhood. My husband and I purchased our single-family home about 1.5 years ago. The neighborhood is quiet. We love it. We want to keep it that way, quiet. We really don't want it to be turned into a multifamily, literally like right 2 lots over from me. So, I mean, we really would love for it to stay single family. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other comments from the audience on this particular issue? Further discussion from the board?
Madam Chair, I mean, it does technically meet the definition of a small zoning island, but with residential multifamily within less than a block as the crow flies from this in two different directions, I don't think it has the same insular characteristics as certain things we've reviewed in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. Other comments? Motion to close public comment.
I'll move to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous to close public comment. Motion to vote.
Anybody got more discussion?
No, we did it.
Have we do it during public?
It's public. Everything we do here is public. Our attorney is making note that we're commenting. Everything we do in this room is public.
Am I allowed to say anything anymore?
Yes, you may respond.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just want to kind of reiterate just the extreme need for housing there is in the area. I mean, I was speaking to Cindy Adams with the Adams Agency, and she's got, 450 units under management, all they're 100% occupancy, and she's got 100 families on the waiting list. They're trying to get homes in the area, and obviously this offers a good solution for kind of ease some of that problem there is.
We have concerns. Water percolation, if you have standing water as it is right now, is that being addressed? And moving into a single family. When everybody has purchased their homes in a single family neighborhood and that's what they're expecting, that's also something we have to take into consideration. The change in the environment of the neighborhood, those are all things that we look at. If there are no further comments, motion to vote. May I have a motion to call the vote?
Motion.
Is that a second? Robert, would you please poll the board?
Mr. Leidig,
Yay?
Mr. Cooper,
Nay.
Mr. Nelson,
Nay.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Ms. McCollum,
No.
Mr. McMahon.
Yes.
With a vote of 4 to 3.
It was approved, Mr. We will be looking at your site plan when it comes in.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is site plan review, SBR 2213. Is Ms. Chadwick here? Name and address?
Carol Chadwick, 1208 Southwest Fairfax, Land Lake City, Florida.
Do you swear the information you provide this evening to be true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Tell us a little about your project.
Well, we just got it recently rezoned, so I'm sure you've seen the preliminary site plan for that. This is the final site plan showing all the utilities, grading, landscaping, pretty much everything that's required by Lake City for a site plan.
Madam Chair, I have a question for the proponent.
Yes.
I see on the site plans themselves, you referenced the 20-inch DBH oak tree as a benchmark on the property.
Correct.
Looking at the current aerial photograph that exists with the cover art on your site plan, that appears to be an extensively wooded lot there. Am I reading this site plan correctly to indicate that all of the large deciduous trees on the property, with the exception of this benchmark tree, are coming down?
Oh, no, the only trees that will be removed are what is absolutely necessary. This tree is only marked because it has the benchmark in it. So, but every other tree possible will be saved.
Okay, I just didn't see it on the
Yeah,
sheet.
we just didn't do
Wanted to
a
make sure.
full tree survey because there's a lot of trees there.
Mhm. That was my only question, Madam Chair.
Any comments from the public? Further comments from the board? May I have a motion to close public comment?
Motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Are we ready to vote? Motion.
Second.
Robert, would you poll the board, please?
Mr. Leidy,
Yay.
Mr. Cooper,
Yay.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Ms. Drew Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Ms. McCollum,
Yes.
and Ms. Brunet.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is variance 2201. Name and address.
Brian Pittman, 405 East Duval Street.
Mr. Pittman, do you swear the information you provide this evening to be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Tell us a little bit about your project.
What we're trying to do here, I believe it is Plantation Village subdivision. It's an existing commercial subdivision over behind what I call the big First Federal building on 90 West. Not sure it's still First Federal, but there is a commercial subdivision, for the most part, a single road that goes in. There's a vacant lot that my client has bought. They wanted to put a single, simple structure on there for a dance studio. The lot itself is somewhat irregular, and they could have made the building slightly smaller, but I believe by doing so, we've got a classroom. The intent of the building is to be used for youth and adult, I believe, recreation, all sorts of dance, yoga, tap dancing. And so the desire really was to get a building of this size in there because it fit their needs the most. What the variance we're asking for is building setback variance. I believe the furthest point away that we get outside the building setback, according to code, is 7 feet. I would like to add that while the current use we're having to use for the dance studio requires a 30-foot building setback, there are other uses in the code that allows for as small as a 20-foot setback. So for me, that showed me at least that I don't see any harm with utilizing the extra 7 feet to get in the building they really want would outfit them to the best of their ability. And I did an assessment, would there be any visual issues coming out of the driveway? I don't believe there will be. And so for all intents and purposes, I thought that, there should be no harm in trying to go for the full-size building they desired in the first place.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just have a clarification. You'd call variance V22-01. As I understand it, are we simultaneously reviewing V2201, SE 2201, and SPR 22-02?
We will while he is at the podium, yes.
Very nice, thank you.
Question about the current use of the lot. What's on the lot?
It's vacant.
Is it the one that was wooded?
So what it appeared, for the best of my ability, I went out while survey was going on. It looked like at a point in time, I'm guessing whoever owned it prior to them must have cleared the center of the lot in preparation of a building going there. If you'll look at sheet C3, what we call the demolition plan, I have an outline to clear and grab everything in there. From what I saw, there were no, I believe there were smaller cluster trees that were probably 2 inches or less. All of your larger trees were on the border. Again, I believe what is inside that dash line called the clearing and grubbing was simple overgrowth just from lack of use over time, and it kind of grown back somewhat. But you see all the trees that are marked 12 inches or larger, I've marked on this demolition plan. That survey did pick up per city code to make sure we weren't impacting any trees that we're responsible for. And if you'll look at the site plan, we do call it a plant 3 additional just in case.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Question?
Yes.
What's this to the rear of this, parcel?
Actually, it kind of splits the retention pond that serves the overall commercial development is, we'll call it, if you look at, say you're looking at the page, to the top of the page to the right, to the left, I want to say, to be honest, I can't remember with you. I think it's also another parcel as part of this commercial subdivision, but I'm not positive on that. But I do know the majority of it, the rear is the actual pond itself that serves the whole commercial subdivision.
So there's no residential property?
No, sir. Now, on the other side of that pond, there is residential over there, but it doesn't, this does not touch that.
Since this is rather large and we're covering a lot, let's look at the special exception first. It is currently residential office. He wishes to use it for a dance studio. The building, he has given us the size of it is 3,200 square feet. That would require a variance in a residential area. Are there questions concerning that? No questions. Are there further comments from the board on the special variance?
I do have one for our city administrators, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Are we painting ourselves into any kind of a corner discussing variances and special exceptions during a planning and zoning meeting instead of a board of adjustment?
The variance and the special exception kind of go hand in hand. The special exception cannot be heard without the variance first, because if you don't have the variance, then the special exception doesn't exist. And so they have to be kind of heard together.
Okay, so it was purposely kind of pulled out of a BOA environment, put into a P&Z environment?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure we weren't painting ourselves into a corner. That was all I had, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. So, now on the variance application, which is, on the special exception application, which is 2201.
That's, yeah. It's,
which is the dance studio and residential office area. Are there specific questions on this, on the special exception? None. May I have a motion to close public comment on the special exception?
Motion to close public comment on the special exception.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Motion to vote on the special exception
and the variance.
and the variance.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
move to call the vote on V 22-01 as well as SE 22-01.
Motion,
Second.
close enough. All in favor of voting on V 2201 and SE 2201?
I'm going to have him poll us for the record.
I will. Do I have a motion to vote? Yes. Okay. Robert, you need to poll V 2201 and SE 2201.
Mr. Leidig,
Yay.
Mr. Cooper,
Yay.
Mr. Nelson,
Yay.
Mr. Zelos,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Ms. McCollum,
Yes.
and Mr. McMahon.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have SBR 2202, the site plan application. Has everyone had a chance to review the site plan? Comments in reference to SBR 2213? No comments from the board, no comments from the public. Motion to close public comment.
Motion to close public comment.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to vote on SPR 2202 site plan application.
Vote on SBR 2202.
Second. Robert, will you poll the board?
Mr. Leidig,
Yay.
Mr. Cooper,
Yay.
Mr. Nelson,
Yay.
Mr. Zelos,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Ms. McCollum. Yes. And Mr. McMahon.
Yes.
Unanimous. Your site plan application has been approved.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Okay, our iPads are not ready, so this will not be handled at this meeting. We will postpone it till the next meeting.
Question, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Does that mean that next month we will also receive paper packets, or are we just going to?
We're going to receive paper packets next month. It also will be available electronically.
Okay. Thank you.
Depending on what we decide in July, we can then go all electronic, or we can do one more month of paper.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
One question for the board, and that, we are going to look at, bringing everybody in one by one to set the iPads up and then use them at that time. For the next P and Z meeting, we'll have both tablet and paper, and that way everybody's comfortable with it, and then if everybody's comfortable with them, then we'll move into the straight iPad.
The next item on the agenda is Sunshine Law, Public Records, and Meeting Decorum. I would very much like to postpone this until we're on the workshop for the historic preservation, since we still have other public business items to handle.
Is that a motion?
Yes,
I would second moving it to the next agenda.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Robert, would you please give us a little tiny overview on the Planning and Zoning Board orientation manual?
I passed out the manuals there. That is the beginning phase of the orientation manual. So a lot more material is going to be added to it, and we will, add more to it and get everybody's approval on it, and then it will go to city council for.
Are these hours to take home and review?
I'll yield back.
You will get it, but not tonight. Scan through it, at your leisure this evening, and make notations on it. Other things that you would like to have, there are several other items that will be included.
So we will be taking it with us.
You will, but not tonight. Yeah, we'll be adding more to it and doing any corrections or notations that y'all want. So since you're gonna be giving it back at every meeting, you may wanna write your name on the front of it so you'll get your own back again.
So just to be clear, we are scanning it and making notes now.
Or at the end.
Madam Chair, seeing nothing else on our P&Z agenda for this evening, I'll make the motion to adjourn that particular board so we can get started with the next one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Planning and zoning is adjourned at 6:12 p.m. We have nothing on the BOA board this